All right, so get ready because today we are going deep, deep into this idea of moon signs and how they impact our love lives.
Yes, that's right. Going way beyond just like the typical sun sign stuff and really exploring how our emotions, how our inner world, how that kind of hidden landscape really impacts the way that we experience love and the things that we crave in a relationship.
Yeah, it's like this emotional blueprint that we might not even realize is there, but it's kind of driving a lot of what we look for in a partner and what we need.
Exactly. So think of it this way, like your sun sign is that outward personality. It's how you kind of shine out to the world. But the moon sign, that's your inner emotional core, right? It's who you are when you're all alone with your thoughts and feelings. It's that more private side of you. And it shapes the kind of connection that you're ultimately yearning for.
Okay, so is it like saying that maybe my sun sign has me like going out and being the life of the party, but then my moon sign is what I actually need like at the end of the night to feel like emotionally recharged?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like that inner compass, right? Guiding you toward the kind of love that truly nourishes you. And what's so fascinating is that each moon sign has its own unique set of needs and desires.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So let's break it down. How is a moon sign determined? Like I know it's astrology, but is it different from my sun sign?
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah. So your moon sign is determined by the position of the moon at the exact time you were born. It's like this snapshot, right, of the lunar energy that was influencing your inner world from the very beginning.
So even if I share the same sun sign with someone, we could have totally different moon signs. And that would mean we approach love and relationships in completely different ways.
Precisely. And understanding these differences can be huge, honestly, not just for romantic relationships, but really for all those close bonds in your life.
It's starting to feel like I'm getting like a secret decoder ring for relationships. Okay, so let's get into like the specifics. How exactly do moon signs influence how we experience love?
Well, first and foremost, they shape your emotional needs within a relationship. It's like, what makes you feel secure and loved and understood? What are the things your partner can do that make you feel truly cherished? Those answers lie within your moon sign.
So for some people, it might be like those big romantic gestures, while for others, it might be those quiet nights in, just talking and feeling emotionally connected.
Exactly, yeah. Some moon signs crave constant verbal affirmation and reassurance, while others prioritize quality time and those shared experiences.
It's making me think about past relationships and like why certain things felt so good while others just felt totally off. Maybe I subconsciously seeking something that my partner's moon sign just wasn't wired to give.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I think we often go into relationships with these subconscious expectations, right, based on our moon signs. And when those needs aren't met, it can lead to frustration and all kinds of misunderstandings.
So understanding moon signs is almost like getting a sneak peek into someone's like emotional instruction manual.
You could say that, yeah. It's about understanding the language of their heart and knowing how to speak it fluently.
Okay, I am so on board with this moon sign deep dive. So what else do we need to know about how they impact our love lives?
Well, moon signs also influence the way that you express and process emotions with your partner. Are you someone who wears your heart on their sleeve? Or do you tend to internalize your feelings more?
That makes so much sense. If one person in the relationship is super expressive and the other one's more reserved, that could lead to so much conflict if they don't understand where the other person's coming from.
Absolutely. One partner might be waiting for like this big declaration of love, while the other is expressing their affection through just like thoughtful acts of service. And both are valid, but they need to be decoded.
It's like learning a whole new language, but in this case, it's the language of love and emotional expression.
And just like with any new language, it takes time and patience. But the rewards are immense because it allows you to connect on this much deeper, more authentic level.
Okay, so moon signs shape our emotional needs and then how we communicate those needs. What else?
They also influence what makes us feel safe and secure in a relationship. Some people really thrive on consistency, routine. Others need more spontaneity and excitement.
Yeah, I can totally see that. If someone's moon sign craves adventure, a partner who's all about predictability, that might end up feeling stifling to them.
Exactly, even if they have the best intentions, right? It's about understanding those core needs and finding a way to honor them within the relationship. And it's not about like changing who you are, but being mindful of what your partner needs to truly feel secure and loved.
So it's not just about compatibility. It's about awareness and the willingness to kind of meet each other's emotional needs.
Precisely. And then the final piece of the puzzle is that moon signs also influence what kind of deep emotional connection we're ultimately seeking. Some people crave that soulmate type bond, while others might prioritize a partnership that's built on mutual respect and shared values.
It's like there's this whole spectrum of love languages, and your moon sign is like holding the key to understanding both yours and your partner's.
Absolutely. It's recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to love and that each individual has their own unique way of experiencing and expressing it.
Okay, I am so ready to dive into the specifics of each moon sign, but before we do you have any advice for our listeners on how to use this knowledge to, create those more fulfilling relationships?
I think the most important thing is to approach this with a sense of curiosity, right? And self-compassion. Don't judge yourself or your partner based on these moon signs. Instead, use this knowledge as a tool for understanding and growth.
It's like, don't get caught up in the labels. Use this to strengthen your bond, not to create unnecessary drama.
Yeah, exactly. It's about recognizing that we all have our own unique ways of loving and being loved. And when we understand those differences, that's when we can create relationships that are truly magical.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's start exploring each of these moon signs and how they play out in our love lives.
So let's start with the fiery and passionate Aries moon. These folks are all about intensity and excitement. Think of that whirlwind romance, spontaneous adventures, a whole lot of that fire energy.
That sounds intense. But with all that fire, isn't there a risk of things burning out pretty quickly? How does an Aries moon find lasting love?
That's a great question. And it's true that Aries moons can be prone to impulsiveness and they might struggle a little with routine, but that doesn't mean they can't find lasting love.
What's the secret to keeping that flame alive with an Aries moon?
I think the key is to embrace their need for spontaneity and adventure. Keep things fresh and exciting. Don't be afraid to try new things together and just keep that spark of passion alive.
So if you're dating an Aries moon, surprise them with a last-minute getaway or like a random spontaneous date night. Just keep them on their toes.
Exactly, yeah. And be prepared for those intense emotional expressions. Aries moons are known for their passionate outbursts, both the positive and the negative ones. They just feel things deeply and they're not afraid to show it.
So it's about being able to handle the heat, appreciating that passionate nature. Don't try to tame their fire, learn to dance with it.
I love that, yeah. It's about understanding that intensity is part of their charm and what makes them so unique.
Okay, so that's Aries moon. Next up, we've got Taurus moon. Now, how does that kind of earthy energy play out in relationships?
So Taurus moons are all about stability, comfort, and that sensual pleasure. They crave a partner who is reliable, affectionate, and can build a strong, secure foundation.
So we're thinking cozy nights in, those home-cooked meals, lots of physical touch, the ultimate cuddle buddies.
Exactly. They love to be pampered and to be surrounded by beauty. They're very sensual and they appreciate the finer things in life.
But I've also heard that Taurus moons can be a little possessive. How does that tend to play out in a relationship, and how can a couple navigate that?
It's true that their need for security can sometimes manifest as possessiveness. They value loyalty and commitment above all else, and they can be deeply hurt by any perceived threat to the relationship.
So it's really important to be upfront and honest with a Taurus moon. Don't play games or send any mixed signals.
Absolutely. Open communication and reassurance are so key to making a Taurus moon feel secure. They need to know they can trust you completely and that you're in it for the long haul.
So while they might enjoy a spontaneous date night here and there, ultimately, a Taurus moon needs to know that they have that solid, reliable partner by their side.
Exactly. They thrive on that consistency, that predictability. They want to know that they can come home to a loving, supportive partner at the end of the day.
Okay, so we've covered fire and earth. Let's move on to an air sign, Gemini moon. What can we expect from them in love?
So Gemini moons are all about communication, mental stimulation, and variety. They really need a partner who can keep up with them, engage them in stimulating conversations, share their ideas, keep things interesting.
So they're the life of the party, always curious, always eager to learn new things. Boredom is like their worst enemy.
You got it. They thrive on novelty and intellectual connection. They need a partner who can keep up with their quick wit and that endless curiosity.
But wouldn't that make it hard for them to settle down, always needing that mental stimulation?
It's true that Gemini moons need a lot of freedom and space to explore their many interests. They're not the type to be easily tied down, but that doesn't mean they can't commit.
So what's the secret to making it work with a Gemini moon?
The key is to understand that their need for variety isn't a sign of disloyalty. It's just part of who they are. They need a partner who's open-minded, who's intellectually curious, and willing to embrace that ever-changing nature.
So instead of trying to hold them back, encourage them to explore, maybe even join them on those adventures.
Exactly. The more you can embrace their need for novelty, for mental stimulation, the more fulfilling the relationship will be for both of you.
Okay, so don't try to clip a Gemini moon's wings. Let them fly, and you'll be amazed by what you discover together.
I love that. It's about understanding that their need for freedom isn't a rejection of you, but an expression of their authentic self.
All right, from the airy Gemini moon, we're going to move to the water sign, Cancer moon. Now, this one's all about emotions, right?
You could say that, yeah. Cancer moons are deeply emotional, very sensitive, nurturing. They crave a partner who can provide a safe and loving space for them to express those feelings.
So they're like the ultimate caretakers, always there to offer a shoulder to cry on and a warm hug.
Exactly. They have this deep capacity for empathy. They're incredibly intuitive. They can sense what you're feeling even before you say it.
But that kind of sensitivity, that can also be a double-edged sword, right?
Uh-huh.
How does a Cancer moon avoid getting hurt or taken advantage of in relationships?
Yeah, that's such an important point. Cancer moons need to learn to set those healthy boundaries, right? And protect their sensitive hearts. They need a partner who's gentle, understanding, and emotionally available.
So someone who's not afraid to talk about their feelings and can handle those emotional depths?
Exactly. Cancer moons need to feel safe and secure in order to truly open up. They need a partner who will be their rock, their safe haven.
So if you're dating a Cancer moon, be prepared to offer a lot of reassurance, emotional support. Show them that you're there for them no matter what.
Absolutely. They need to know they can trust you with their heart and that you won't take advantage of that vulnerability.
So it's not about being tough or stoic. It's about meeting their emotional needs and creating that space where they feel safe to be themselves.
Exactly. Cancer moons need to know that their feelings are valid and that they have a partner who will honor and cherish those.
Okay, that's Cancer moon. From the watery depths, we move on to the radiant and passionate Leo moon. Now, these folks love to shine, right?
They do. Leo moons are all about warmth, generosity, and self-expression. They crave a partner who will make them feel special, appreciated, and admired.
So think big romantic gestures, public displays of affection, lots of compliments. They love to be in the spotlight.
Exactly. They thrive on attention and affection. They want a partner who will celebrate their unique qualities and make them feel like they're the center of their world.
But wouldn't that make them seem demanding or high maintenance? How do you balance that need for attention with the give and take of a healthy relationship?
It's true that Leo moons can be sensitive to criticism and might need more reassurance than other moon signs, but their need for attention isn't about ego or vanity. It comes from this deep desire to be seen and appreciated for who they are.
So it's about finding that balance between giving them the recognition they crave while also encouraging them to see the value in their partner's contributions.
Precisely. It's about creating a relationship where both partners feel valued, appreciated. Leo moons are incredibly generous and loving, and they're more than willing to reciprocate the affection they receive.
Okay, so it's not just about showering them with compliments. It's about that genuine appreciation, mutual admiration.
Exactly. Leo moons thrive in relationships where both partners are able to shine brightly and celebrate each other's unique gifts.
Okay, that's Leo moon. From the radiant spotlight, we're going to move to the grounded and practical Virgo moon. Now, how does this earth sign approach love and relationships?
So Virgo moons are all about service, practicality, self-improvement. They express their love through those acts of service by taking care of the practical details of life.
So they're not big on the grand gestures or flowery language. They show their love through actions, not words.
Exactly. They're the ones who will cook you dinner when you're sick, organize your closet, help you with your taxes. They find joy in making your life easier, more efficient.
But I've also heard that Virgo moons can be, critical, perfectionistic. How does that play out in a relationship?
It's true. Their analytical nature can sometimes come across as critical, but it's important to remember their intentions are good. They simply want to help you be the best version of yourself.
So it's not about nitpicking or putting you down. It's about helping you grow and improve.
Precisely. They see your potential and want to support you in reaching it. And it's important to note, they hold themselves to these same high standards.
So it's about recognizing that those critiques are coming from a place of love, a desire to see you thrive.
Exactly, both individually and as a couple. And if you can embrace that feedback and see it as a form of support, it can actually be really beneficial for the relationship.
Okay, so don't take their critiques personally. See it as a sign that they care enough to want you to be your best.
That's a great takeaway. And remember, Virgo moons are incredibly loyal and devoted partners. They're in it for the long haul. They'll always be there to support you through thick and thin.
Okay, that's Virgo moon. From the practical and grounded, we move to the diplomatic and charming Libra moon. What can we expect from this air sign in love?
So Libra moons are all about harmony, balance, and fairness. They crave a partner who values equality, compromise, creating that peaceful and harmonious connection.
So they're the ultimate peacemakers, always seeking to find common ground and avoid conflict.
You got it. They thrive in relationships that feel balanced and harmonious. They have this innate sense of fairness, and they're always striving to create those win-win situations.
But wouldn't that make them prone to, like, people-pleasing or avoiding difficult conversations? How does a Libra moon actually assert their own needs in a relationship?
It's true that Libra moons can sometimes struggle with assertiveness. They hate conflict and will go to great lengths to avoid it. But that doesn't mean they don't have their own needs and desires.
So how can a partner kind of encourage them to speak up and express themselves a little more openly?
The key is to create a safe and supportive environment where they feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and feelings. Encourage that open communication and let them know that you value their perspective.
So make it clear that you're not looking for them to agree with you all the time. You want to hear their honest opinions, even if they're different.
Exactly. Libra moons need to know they can express themselves authentically without fear of judgment or rejection. And once they feel safe to do that, they can be incredibly insightful and supportive partners.
Okay, so it's about creating that space where they feel heard, validated, where they can share their perspective without feeling like they're rocking the boat.
Precisely. And remember, Libra moons are incredibly charming, diplomatic, romantic. They bring a real sense of grace and elegance to their relationships.
Okay, that's Libra moon. From the harmonious and balanced, we move on to the intense and mysterious Scorpio moon. Now, these folks are known for their depth, right?
That's an understatement. Scorpio moons are all about depth, intensity, transformation. They crave a partner who can handle that emotional intensity and isn't afraid to explore those hidden depths of their soul.
So they're not for the faint of heart. They need someone who can handle their passionate nature and really delve into those deep waters with them.
You got it. They're looking for a connection that goes way beyond the superficial. They want to kind of merge souls with their partner and experience that full spectrum of human emotion.
But wouldn't that make them prone to things like jealousy or possessiveness? How do you navigate that intensity in a healthy way?
It's true that Scorpio moons can be prone to jealousy, yeah. They feel things very deeply, and they can be deeply hurt by any kind of betrayal. But that intensity is also what makes them so passionate and loyal.
So it's about finding that balance between their need for intimacy and their need for trust.
Exactly. Scorpio moons need to know they can trust their partner completely. They need to feel safe and secure to open up fully and share their vulnerabilities.
So if you're dating a Scorpio moon, be prepared to be fully present, emotionally available. Don't play games. Don't send mixed signals.
Absolutely. Honesty and transparency are so important in a relationship with a Scorpio moon. They can sense when something is off, and they won't tolerate any form of deception.
So it's about building that foundation of trust and showing them that you're in it for the long haul.
Precisely. Scorpio moons are looking for a partner who can weather the storms with them and who will be there for them through thick and thin.
Okay, that's Scorpio moon. From the depths of intensity, we move on to the adventurous and free-spirited Sagittarius moon. Now, how does this fire sign approach love and relationships?
Sagittarius moons are all about freedom, adventure, expansion. They crave a partner who shares that love of exploration, who can keep up with their boundless energy.
So think spontaneous road trips, those deep philosophical conversations, a lot of laughter. They need someone who can keep them on their toes.
You got it. They thrive on novelty and excitement. They're always looking for that next adventure and need a partner who's down to join them on the journey.
But wouldn't that make it hard for them to settle down, always needing that sense of freedom and exploration?
It's true. Sagittarius moons really value their independence, need a lot of space to roam. But that doesn't mean they can't commit.
So what's the secret to making it work with a Sagittarius moon?
I think the key is to understand that their need for freedom isn't a rejection of you. It's just part of who they are. They need a partner who's open-minded, adventurous, willing to embrace that free spirit.
So instead of trying to hold them back, encourage their exploration, maybe even join them on their adventures.
Exactly. The more you can embrace that need for novelty, for excitement, the more fulfilling the relationship will be for both of you.
Okay, so don't try to cage a Sagittarius moon. Give them space to roam, and they'll always come back to you, enriched by those experiences.
That's such a beautiful way to put it. It's about understanding that their need for freedom is not a rejection, but it's just an expression of their authentic self.
All right, from the free-spirited Sagittarius moon, we move on to the responsible and ambitious Capricorn moon. Now, this earth sign is known for practicality, right? So how does that translate to love and relationships?
So Capricorn moons are all about commitment, stability, those long-term goals. They crave a partner who is reliable, responsible, who shares their ambition and drive.
So they're looking for a partner who's in it for the long haul, someone who's willing to work towards a shared future, build a solid foundation together.
Exactly. They take relationships seriously and don't believe in wasting time on those fleeting flings. They're looking for someone who's equally committed to creating a secure and fulfilling life together.
But I've also heard that Capricorn moons can be a bit emotionally reserved. So how does that play out in a relationship? And how can a partner navigate that?
Yeah, it's true that Capricorn moons can be a little slow to open up emotionally. They're not the type to wear their heart on their sleeve. But that doesn't mean they don't have deep feelings.
So it's about being patient, understanding that their love is expressed more through those actions rather than grand declarations.
Precisely. They show their love through their loyalty, their reliability, their willingness to work hard for the relationship. They're the type to be there for you through thick and thin, no matter what.
So if you're dating a Capricorn moon, don't expect a lot of mushy talk or those over-the-top displays of affection. Just look for those subtle signs of their commitment. Appreciate that steadfast nature.
Exactly. They might not say, "I love you" every 5 minutes, but their actions really do speak louder than words. They're the type to show up when it counts, be a rock for their partner.
Okay, so it's about understanding that their love is a slow burn. It's about building that trust and security over time, appreciating their unwavering dedication.
That's a great way to put it. Capricorn moons are in it for the long haul, and they're looking for a partner who can match that level of commitment.
Okay, that's Capricorn moon. From the grounded and responsible, we move on to the unconventional and independent Aquarius moon. Now, this air sign is known for its unique perspective, right? So how does that manifest in their love lives?
Aquarius moons are all about individuality, freedom of thought, and intellectual connection. They crave a partner who respects their need for space and who can engage them in those stimulating conversations.
So they're kind of like the rebels of the zodiac, always questioning the status quo, looking for a partner who's equally open-minded, unconventional.
You got it. They thrive on that intellectual stimulation. Need a partner who can keep up with their quick wit and their unconventional ideas. They're not interested in fitting into any mold or conforming to societal expectations.
But wouldn't that make it hard for them to connect on an emotional level, always prioritizing their head over their heart?
It's true that Aquarius moons can sometimes struggle with that emotional expression. They're more comfortable in the realm of ideas, concepts, but that doesn't mean they don't have those deep feelings.
So how can a partner kind of help them open up, express themselves more freely?
The key is to create a space where they feel safe to be their authentic selves, you know? Don't try to force them to conform or to fit into any preconceived notions of what a relationship should look like.
So be open to their unique way of expressing love. Don't necessarily expect those grand gestures or traditional displays of affection.
Exactly. Aquarius moons might show their love through acts of service, through intellectual discussions, or through shared experiences that kind of stimulate their minds and souls.
Okay, so it's about embracing their individuality and celebrating that unique way of being in the world.
Precisely. Aquarius moons are looking for a partner who is their equal, their friend, and their intellectual soulmate.
Okay, that's Aquarius moon. From the unconventional and independent, we move on to the dreamy and romantic Pisces moon. Now, this water sign is known for its sensitivity, right? How does that translate to love and relationships?
Pisces moons are the ultimate romantics. They crave that soulmate connection, a love that transcends the ordinary and touches their very soul.
So think candlelit dinners, poetry readings, long walks on the beach. They're looking for that partner who can understand their emotional depths and shares that idealistic view of love.
Exactly. They're incredibly sensitive and intuitive. You know, they can sense your emotions, and they often feel things more deeply than others. They need a partner who is gentle, compassionate, and emotionally available.
But wouldn't that make them kind of prone to getting hurt or disillusioned by those harsh realities of love? How can a Pisces moon protect their sensitive heart in relationships?
It's true that Pisces moons can be idealistic and might need to guard against getting lost in fantasy, but their sensitivity is also what makes them so compassionate and loving.
So it's about finding that balance between their need for romance and their need for grounding.
Precisely. Pisces moons need a partner who can understand and appreciate their emotional depths, but can also provide a sense of stability and security.
So if you're dating a Pisces moon, be prepared to be a good listener, a shoulder to cry on, a source of emotional support.
Absolutely. They need to know they can trust you with their heart and that you won't take advantage of their vulnerability. They're looking for a partner who will cherish their sensitivity, see it as a strength rather than a weakness.
Okay, so it's about creating a safe space where they can be their authentic selves, where they can express those emotions freely without fear of judgment.
Exactly. Pisces moons need a partner who can navigate those emotional waters with them and who can appreciate that dreamy, romantic nature.
Wow, we have covered so much ground here.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much insight we can get just from understanding these moon signs. It's like a whole new way of looking at ourselves and the people in our lives.
It really is. And the journey of self-discovery through astrology is really just beginning. There's so much more to explore.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling inspired to learn more. But before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I'm curious, what's one piece of advice you would give to our listeners on how they can use this moon sign knowledge to improve their relationships?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is to remember that moon signs are just one piece of the puzzle. They're not a magic bullet or a guarantee of compatibility, but they can be an incredibly valuable tool for understanding ourselves and the people we love.
So it's not about using moon signs to label people or to put them in boxes. It's about using this knowledge to enhance our connections and create those more fulfilling relationships.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we all have our own unique ways of loving and being loved. And when we understand those differences, we can create relationships that are truly magical.
All right, on that note, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll explore some practical tips on how to use this moon sign knowledge in your everyday life, whether you're single, dating, or in a long-term relationship. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. It feels like we just opened up this treasure chest of moon sign knowledge, and now we get to see how to actually use all these gems.
Yeah, I love that. And now that we've got a good foundation of understanding, let's talk about how you can use this in your own life.
Okay, so first, just a super quick recap. Moon signs, they tell us our emotional needs, how we express them, what makes us feel secure, and then the kind of deep connection that we're really craving.
Exactly. It's like a personalized map for navigating, the emotional landscape of all your relationships. And I mean both romantic and platonic.
Okay, yeah. So for everyone listening, think about your closest relationships. Do you see how their moon signs might actually be shedding some light on any patterns or dynamics that you've noticed? Yeah, it's kind of like having those aha moments where suddenly things that were maybe confusing before, they start to make a lot more sense.
Exactly, like maybe your best friend is a Pisces moon. So that explains why they always cry at every single movie, or they're always the first one to offer a comforting hug.
Yeah, or maybe your partner is a Virgo moon, and those acts of service are their main love language, even if they're not super verbally expressive.
Okay, so we're starting to see how this can play out in real life, but let's get even more practical. So let's say you're single, you're starting to date. How can you use this moon sign knowledge to your advantage?
Well, I think first and foremost, you have to understand your own moon sign. You know what your needs are. How do you best receive love?
So, if I'm a Leo moon, I thrive on compliments and affirmation. So maybe I shouldn't be dating someone who's really shy and emotionally reserved.
Exactly. You might find yourself always seeking that validation, feeling frustrated because your partner's just not wired to give it in that way.
So it's not about finding someone with the exact same moon sign as you. It's more about being aware of those potential compatibilities and challenges.
Exactly. For example, if you're a Cancer moon who needs a lot of emotional depth and security, you might naturally be drawn to someone with a Taurus moon or Capricorn moon, who are both known for their stability and loyalty.
But that doesn't mean a Cancer moon can't have an amazing relationship with, say, a Gemini moon who's much more intellectually driven.
Right. Absolutely not. It just means that you have to be aware of those potential differences in your communication styles, in your emotional needs, and be willing to put in the effort to kind of bridge those gaps.
So it's not about limiting your options, but just being more conscious and intentional about the relationships that you actually choose to cultivate.
Exactly. And then once you're in a relationship, understanding each other's moon signs can be huge.
Okay, let's dive into that. How can couples use this knowledge to strengthen their bond?
Well, for starters, just having those open and honest conversations about your moon signs, what you've learned, that's a great way to just really deepen your understanding of each other.
So instead of arguing about why he never remembers to buy flowers, you could be like, hey, honey, my Leo moon really appreciates those gestures of romance. It makes me feel so loved.
Exactly. And he might say, oh, wow, I had no idea. My Virgo moon expresses love through acts of service. How about I cook you dinner tonight?
It's like we said, that secret decoder ring for each other's emotional language.
I love that, yeah. And it goes beyond just like those specific actions. It's also about understanding how your partner processes their emotions, what makes them feel safe, secure.
So, for example, if you know your partner's a Scorpio moon who's prone to, like, jealousy, you can be extra mindful about not giving them a reason to feel insecure.
Right. And instead of getting defensive when they do express those feelings, you can reassure them of your love and your commitment.
And if you're with a Sagittarius moon who needs their space, you can learn to just give them that freedom they need without taking it personally.
Exactly. Recognizing that their need for independence isn't a rejection, but it's just part of their, like, core self.
So it's not about trying to change each other or fit into some, like, idealized mold of what a relationship should look like. It's about accepting and honoring each other's, needs and desires.
Precisely. And I think that's what makes this whole moon sign exploration so powerful, It's not about putting people in boxes. It's about expanding our understanding of the human heart and just creating these much more compassionate and fulfilling relationships.
Okay, I am so ready to put this into practice. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about moon signs influencing, not just romantic relationships, but really all sorts of connections.
Yeah, that's right. Your moon sign's kind of with you in every relationship. It shapes your interactions with friends, with family, even with colleagues.
So if I have a Cancer moon, for example, who really craves that emotional closeness, I might be drawn to friends who are super nurturing and supportive, like they create that sense of family.
Exactly. And you might struggle a little with friends who are more emotionally distant or who prioritize logic over feelings.
It's like you suddenly have this whole new way to understand why we connect with certain people so effortlessly, while others just feel a little bit off.
Yeah, it's almost like a magnetic pull toward those whose emotional needs and communication styles just kind of like vibe with our own.
Okay, so understanding moon signs can help us not only in our love lives, but really in all of our relationships.
Absolutely. It's recognizing that everyone has their own unique way of experiencing and expressing their emotions. And when we learn to honor those differences, I think our connections become so much richer.
And honestly, this takes so much pressure off, right? Because instead of blaming ourselves or others when things feel off, we can just start to see those challenges as like opportunities to grow.
Yeah, I love that. It's about approaching all our relationships with a sense of curiosity and empathy and a willingness to just meet each other where we are.
Okay, I feel like we've covered so much in this deep dive. What are some key takeaways that you hope our listeners walk away with?
Well, first of all, I just hope they feel empowered by this, because understanding moon signs can be like having this secret weapon when it comes to love and relationships.
Yeah, it's like we've unlocked this code that can help us create those deeper, more fulfilling connections.
Exactly. And I also hope they walk away with a sense of compassion for themselves and for others.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that we all have our own unique emotional needs and ways of expressing love. And none of them are wrong. They're just different.
And when we learn to really honor those differences, that's when our relationships become much more harmonious.
Okay, before we wrap up, I've got one more question. We've talked a lot about how to use this knowledge in relationships that we're already in. But what about attracting love in the first place? Like, if you're single, you're hoping to meet someone special, how can you use this to your advantage?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think it's all about aligning your intentions with the energy of your own moon sign.
Okay, so like if I'm a Taurus moon who really craves stability, security, maybe I shouldn't be looking for love in a fast-paced, unpredictable environment.
Exactly. You might have better luck finding a compatible partner in a setting that resonates with your moon sign needs. Think like a cozy coffee shop, a pottery class, maybe a volunteer event.
So think about the activities and the environments that make you feel comfortable and emotionally fulfilled, and then put yourself out there.
Precisely, yeah. And when you are interacting with those potential partners, Don't be afraid to let your moon sign shine through.
So if I'm like a Leo moon who loves to be admired, don't be afraid to like express my creativity, my warmth, my playful side.
Exactly. Just embrace those qualities that make you unique and that will naturally draw people to you. Confidence is attractive, you know.
So instead of trying to like fit into some mold of what's dateable, just be yourself. Let your moon sign guide you and trust that the right person will appreciate you for who you are.
That's beautiful. And don't be afraid to just like have fun with it, you know? Dating should be an adventure. It's a chance to explore different connections, learn more about yourself.
Okay, I love that. So to all of our single listeners out there, embrace your moon sign, trust your intuition, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You never know where love might be waiting.
And remember, the journey of finding love is just as important as the destination. It's about learning and growing and becoming the best version of yourself.
So well said. Okay, I think we have officially like squeezed every last drop of wisdom out of this topic.
I think so too.
I already feel like a moon sign expert, but I have a feeling this is just the start of my like astrological journey.
Yeah, there's always more to learn, always more to explore. And that's the beauty of astrology. It's like this constantly evolving practice.
So it's not about memorizing a bunch of rules. It's about using this knowledge as a tool for self-discovery and for creating those more meaningful connections.
Exactly. And I just encourage everyone listening to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing this wisdom with the people they love.
Okay, so I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into moon signs and emotional needs in love.
Yeah, this has been a great conversation.
Before we say goodbye, is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with? Any parting words of wisdom or inspiration?
I would just say trust your intuition, embrace that emotional depth, and never stop exploring the magical world of astrology.
Ooh, I love that. Never stop exploring the magical world of astrology.
Oh,
Definitely go on my inspiration board.
steal it. It's all yours.
Okay, folks, that's a wrap on moon signs and emotional needs in love. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive as much as we did.
Until next time, may your hearts be open, your minds be curious, and your love lives just filled with joy and fulfillment.
And may your moon signs always guide you toward those relationships that truly light up your soul.
Beautifully said.
Bye for now.
You know, it's interesting. As we've been talking about all these different moon signs, I've been thinking about how much pressure we put on ourselves to like be a certain way in relationships.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're bombarded with all these societal expectations, these romantic ideals, and it's so easy to just lose sight of what truly matters.
Like we think we need to be, you know, super outgoing and confident to attract a partner, or that we need to be like perfectly put together, emotionally available all the time.
Right, and that kind of pressure can actually like sabotage our relationships before they even start.
Exactly. So how can we use this moon sign knowledge to kind of let go of some of those expectations and just embrace, you know, our true selves in love?
I think it all comes back to remembering that your moon sign is a gift, not a burden. It's part of what makes you unique. So instead of trying to like hide or suppress those qualities, we should be celebrating them.
Absolutely, yeah. Embrace your sensitivity, your intensity, your need for freedom, whatever it is that makes your moon sign shine.
And trust that the right person will appreciate those qualities, even the ones that we've been, you know, conditioned to see as flaws.
Exactly. Because true love isn't about perfection. It's about accepting and celebrating each other's imperfections.
Okay, I love that. It's like letting go of the need to be perfect and just embracing that messy, beautiful complexity of like who we really are.
And when we can do that, that's when we create the space for genuine connection, vulnerability, for a love that goes way beyond the surface.
Okay, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this incredible deep dive into moon signs and emotional needs in love.
I agree. It's been such a fun conversation.
I feel like I've learned so much, not just about moon signs, but about, you know, relationships as a whole.
Me too. And I hope our listeners feel the same way. Remember, this is just the beginning of your journey. There's always more to learn and discover.
So keep those hearts open, those minds curious, and never stop exploring.
Beautifully said. Until next time.
Bye for now.